modern film began to take its shape in the early 1900s as innovation flourished. France, in particular, was a hub of rapid filmmaking technological advancement. Devices such as the cinematograph helped to lead France in the filmmaking business early on before other countries. Auguste and Louis Lumière were two brothers who wanted to take movies out of Thomas Edison's kinetoscope and show them to a larger audience. In 1895, the Lumière brothers successfully created the first projector and were able to show a movie to audiences. In doing so, they sparked the French film industry, although the Lumière brothers considered cinema to just be a fad. The French film industry quickly continued to grow far beyond the invention of the projector. Professionals flooded the French film market as they used their technical wit, but what really helped France to outdo other countries' film outputs was the company Pathé, who dominated the movie industry as it focused its full efforts on the production side of everything cinema. Pathé's dominance and innovation garnered the French film industry a great deal of money, which they used to expand internationally. The First World War, as well, inspired French filmmakers to develop and innovate with the sadness and despair that always comes about in a great war. Cinema was more welcome than ever. And so, during the war, and even continuing to modern day, the French government helped to fund the industry and support them, alongside Western filmmakers honing their advancements. What helped France's film industry to be so pioneering and innovative early on was their ability to market. French film production companies quickly learned how to market their films all across the world, investing into international markets as they opened movie theaters and created production companies in other countries. They created a space where aspiring filmmakers could use their equipment and therefore contribute to their movie industry. They curated some of the most impressive innovators of the time all together and employed directors who established the use of continuity editing and depth of field. The biggest company to bring everything together was the French film company Pathé Frères. They had originally been conceived as a phonograph company in 1894, and they quickly found success, not only throughout France, but also throughout other markets in Europe. As the company found success in their phonograph business, they started to recognize the growing popularity of film and began the second film company to enter the industry, expanding almost immediately. In 1896, they expanded internationally when a man named Mitchell Mark imported their films to the Vitascope Theater in Buffalo, New York. This was the first instance of importing in the film industry, and Pathé realized early on the importance of distributing their films to a larger audience in the industry. They began to focus on the production and equipment side of their business, and became the largest of their kind in the world, inspiring directors and filmmakers to come from all areas to make projects for them. Pathé paved the road by investing in up-and-coming filmmakers by providing them equipment and distributing their films. This also allowed filmmakers from other countries to come into the film industry and advertise the French market. Pathé became a production operation and exploited the market to produce many of its pictures. However, Pathé also created many jobs by hiring professionals who excelled in the technological revolution. And they opened up many studios and created many jobs with these studios, as well as funding research and development of film and camera equipment, inventing the newsreel and standardizing film stock. Pathé wanted a way to guarantee that their audiences would come back and pioneered the idea of the film serial, where audience members would watch a series of films that were all connected through the same story. Audience members would go once a week and watch a film that ended on a cliffhanger, meaning they would want to come back next week to see the next chapter of the film. An example of modern film serials could be the Star Wars franchise or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, both influenced by the French film serial. However, despite being the most successful film company monopolizing a large part of their market, Pathé was far from the only French film business that was revolutionizing modern pictures. The oldest film company in the world, Gaumont, was born in France similar to Pathé, as they too started off as a phonograph producing company before transitioning to create film to promote its products. The first female director to enter the film industry was a woman named Elise Guy Blanchet. She was the head of production of Gaumont Film Studios from 1897 to 1907. She was extremely progressive and experimented with color tint and special effects, inspiring future cinema legends such as Alfred Hitchcock. Georges Méliès was a French director who, like Alice Guy Blaché, was also interested in color and special effects. He especially pioneered the technical industry in France with films such as his legendary 1902 flick, A Trip to the Moon. He led the industry by inventing and popularizing many techniques, such as the use of storyboards, splice cutting, multiple exposures, matte painting, forced perspective, split screen, among numerous other developments. Méliès was also one of the first directors to recognize the potential of narrative film, quickly weaving his stories into his films deliberately and creatively. His company applied every technical maneuver they possibly could, as well as employing as many different artists they could, including those who implemented sculpture, stop-motion animation, and painting throughout many of his films. Past Méliès and the two world wars, France began to experience struggle in their film industry. However, in the 1950s, they had a revitalization of films with the New Wave era, which worked to subvert the industry before it. Instead of working to appease the studios, films in the French New Wave era worked to satisfy the director's vision. They focused on surrealism, and they departed from narrative structure. They made inexpensive and abstract films that challenged the previous 50 years, as well as expanding upon techniques that Gaumont and Georges Méliès had created. The French film industry remains one of the most successful in the world to this day, and its influence cannot be understated, inspiring filmmakers such as Quentin Tarantino, Stanley Kubrick, Guillermo del Toro, and others, who use a combination of early and new wave French film techniques. If not for production marvels paved by Pathé such as film serials, extensive distribution, and influence in international markets, we would not have the boundary crossing and captivating stories throughout the world prevalent in our media today.